been out here longer than I'm meant to. Don't really know what kept me here. I thought I'd leave a while ago, but something didn't let me. I walked a bit, then stopped myself like I forgot what I was doing. Looked around for something else, but nothing really moved me. There was a point I almost left. I even turned my body halfway, but I stayed where I was at, like going back would feel the same. I stayed a little past the moment where it should have ended. Not waiting, not thinking, just didn't leave. There wasn't anything to hold me, but nothing pulled me out. So I stayed a little longer just to see how it played out. Checked my phone and locked it again like it didn't matter anyway. Read the time but let it pass like I had nowhere else to be. Cars went by, I barely noticed, just lines moving through the frame. I watched them fade into nothing, then forgot why I looked that way. My hands stayed where they were, like they belonged there for a reason. Even though I knew they didn't, I just didn't feel like changing. I stayed a little past the moment where it should have ended. Not waiting, not thinking, just didn't leave. It wasn't something I decided, just something that remained, like the air around the streetlight, holding everything the same. I could've gone, I know that. I even thought about it twice, but every step felt unnecessary, like it would just reset the night. Whatever this was, it held me. Not enough to call it something, just enough to keep me still and stop me from becoming still out here for no clear reason. I think I lost the moment somewhere in between. Not gone yet, just not moving. And somehow that was enough. I kept walking past the corner, didn't think to slow it down. There was nothing pulling forward, still I didn't turn around. Same block, different moment, but it felt like nothing changed. I crossed lines without noticing, like I'd done it yesterday. I passed something I remembered, couldn't tell from where or when. It just stayed for half a second, then it disappeared again. I kept walking like it meant something, even though it didn't. Step after step, no direction, just movement. Not lost, not heading somewhere, just going. The ground kept answering, so I followed. Every turn looked undecided, so I didn't choose a side. I just moved along the middle, let the distance take its time. There was something in the rhythm of my feet against the road. Not enough to call it steady, just enough to let it go. I went further than I noticed, then forgot how far I came. steps erased each other before I could give them names. I kept walking like it meant something, even though it didn't. Step after step, no direction, just movement. Not lost, not heading somewhere, just going like the ground kept answering. So I followed. I could stop if I wanted, but I never really tried. Every pause felt unnecessary, so I let it pass me by. There was no clear ending to it, just a stretch that carried on. And the longer that it lasted, the less I thought about it. Still walking, same pace, no reason, no change, just forward for now. Something crossed my mind just now, didn't stay, just passed me by. I kept walking like before, but it followed for a while. It came up without a reason, like it slipped into the frame. I didn't try to understand it, didn't even give it shape. I saw something in the distance, thought it meant a little more, but the closer that I got there, it was nothing like before. I kept moving at the same pace, let it fade without a sound, like it wasn't meant to stay long, just enough to come around. It crossed my mind and disappeared before I could hold it. Not a thought I tried to keep, just something passing. It didn't ask for anything, just came and went, like a shadow in the corner. I didn't follow it. There was something in the timing, like it showed up just to leave. I could feel it for a second, then it loosened off of me. I didn't stop to look behind me, didn't slow to let it grow. I just let it move beside me, like it didn't need to go. The street stayed the same as always, nothing shifted in the view, but inside it felt like something slightly different passed through. It crossed my mind and disappeared before I could hold it. Not a thought I tried to keep, just something passing. It didn't ask for anything, just came and went, like a shadow in the corner. I didn't follow it. Maybe it was nothing real, just a space between two steps, or something I forgot before, trying once again. But I didn't stay to figure it, I just let it fall away. And the more I kept on moving, the less it had to say. Something crossed my mind, then it left. Didn't mean to keep it, so I didn't. Something felt slightly off just now, not enough to stop me, just enough to notice. Then I kept moving. Everything stayed where it was. Same road, same direction, but the way it settled in lost a bit of its connection. I looked once without a reason, like I missed it on the way, but nothing new was added, just a shift I couldn't say. It wasn't something clear enough to give a proper name, just a small uneven feeling where it used to feel the same. Something felt slightly off for a moment. Not wrong, not broken, just different. Like it slipped out of place without moving. Something felt slightly off and it lingered. I kept walking like before, it didn't change the pace at all, but the rhythm didn't match me. Like it softened then it stalled. I checked, nothing changed, nothing, let it pass without a thought, but it stayed a little longer than I expected it to. It didn't ask for attention, but it stayed within my view. Like it didn't need a reason, just a space to come through. Felt slightly off for a moment. Not sharp, not heavy, just present. Like it leaned out of place without warning. Something felt slightly off and I noticed. Maybe nothing really changed, just the way I moved through it. Or maybe it was always there and I only just saw it. I didn't stop to fix it, didn't try to make it right, just let it stay. And even as I walked through the night, still moving, same way. Slightly off, won't stay. Just enough to know. I thought it would fade by now, but it hasn't, not really. It's quieter than before, but it's still with me. Everything looks the same, same road under my feet, but something in how it settles doesn't line up clean. I kept walking like before, didn't change a single step, but the space between each moment feels a little offset. It's not enough to stop me, not enough to pull me in, just a trace that won't disappear no matter where I've been. It stayed a little longer than I thought it would. Not stronger, not heavier, just understood. Like something out of place that fits just enough. It stayed a little longer, still slightly off. I tried not to focus on it, let it fall behind my pace, but it moved along beside me, never fully out of frame. Every turn felt undecided, not because I couldn't choose, just because the feeling lingered in the space I couldn't lose. It didn't ask for meaning, didn't try to make a sound, but the longer that I walked on, it was always still around. It stayed a little longer than I thought it would. Not clearer, not distant, just where it stood. Like something almost right, but not enough. It stayed a little longer, still slightly off. Maybe it was always like this, and I never have stayed a little longer, then it stayed in view. I tried not to give it meaning, let it pass the way things do, but it kept showing up again, in the same place in the room. Nothing changed around me, same street, same quiet pace, but the way it settled in felt harder to replace. I wasn't looking for it, but I saw it anyway, like it didn't need permission just to stay. I kept noticing it more than before, not enough to stop me, but enough to feel. It stayed in the corner of everything. I kept noticing it didn't fade. I went further than I planned to, still it followed just the same. Not behind me, not ahead, just somewhere I couldn't name. I thought maybe if I moved faster, it would slip out of the frame, but it stayed at the same distance, never changing shape. I didn't stop to question it, didn't try to make it clear, just let it stay where it was, quiet but near. I kept noticing it without a reason, not stronger, not louder, just clearer. It stayed in the outline of everything. I kept noticing it still there. Maybe it was always like this and I never paid it mind, or maybe something shifted just enough this time. I didn't wanna follow it, but I couldn't look away, so I let it move beside me and didn't say. Still there in view, didn't ask, just grew. I kept noticing it stayed. I took a second, didn't stop, just slowed it down. Something in the way it stayed made me look around. I was moving like before, and I wasn't quite as fast. Not because I had a reason, just something made it last. I looked once without thinking, then I looked a little more, like I missed it the first time, standing where I was before. Nothing new was really there, same shape, same kind of line, but it felt like I should see it just a little more this time. I took a second, didn't pass it, let it stay where it landed. Not enough to call it something, but I didn't move past it. I stayed longer than I meant to, just to see what would come through, but it didn't really change, just stayed slightly out of view. I thought maybe if I watched it, it would settle into place, but it held the same position like it didn't need to change. I didn't try to name it, didn't try to make it clear, just let it sit in front of me, quiet but still here. I took a second, didn't pass it, let it stay where it just not something I would see. Or maybe slowing down made it easier to be. I didn't wanna fix it, just didn't wanna miss it. So I stayed right where I was and let it sit. Took a second, still here, didn't move, just near. I thought I had it for a second, then it slipped again. Right when I got closer, it thinned out at the edge. I stayed a little longer with it, tried to see it straight. But the more I kept it in view, the less it seemed to stay. It didn't shift or move away, still right where it had been. But something in the way it held wouldn't settle in. I tried to line it up in place like I almost understood, but it loosened as I looked at it more than I thought it would. It's less clear now than before, not further, just unsure. Right in front, but out of shape. I held it once, then it slipped away. I thought maybe I was missing it, so I stayed to watch again. But it kept the same position, just harder to pretend I didn't lose it completely. It never really left, it just changed enough to blur itself. The longer that I checked, I tried not to overthink it, but I stayed a bit too long. And somewhere in the middle, it stopped feeling like a form. It's less clear now than before, not gone, just unsure. Still right here, but hard to place. I held it once, then it slipped away. Maybe it was never solid, just something passing through. Or maybe looking closer made it harder to keep true. I didn't mean to lose it, just didn't let it be. And now it feels like something that won't stay with me. Less clear now, somehow still here, but gone. I let it go where it was, didn't need to hold it. I'd been looking long enough, so I just left it. There was nothing more to get from it, nothing else to see. I stayed longer than I should have, that was enough for me. I didn't try to fix the shape, didn't try to make it stay. Just stepped back into my pace and let it fade away. It wasn't something I could carry, not something I could place. So I left it where I found it, in the same exact space. I left it there, didn't need it, I didn't look again behind me, didn't check if it was gone. Some things don't need confirming, they just stop holding on. My steps felt more familiar, like they were before. All that, not clearer, not lighter, just back to where I'm at. It didn't follow after, didn't ask me to explain. I stayed exactly where it was, and I stayed in my lane. I left it there, didn't need it, not mine to work around. I left it there, no meaning, and I kept walking on. Walking on. Maybe I could have stayed with it, maybe I could have tried, but it didn't feel like something that needed to be mine. So I let it be what it was, didn't name it, didn't care, just stepped back into the moment and left it there. Left it there and gone, no need to hold on. I went back to how it was. We're close enough to call it that. Same steps, same kind of pace, just not exactly that. Nothing really stood out anymore, nothing stayed in view. I wasn't looking for anything like I used to do. I moved without thinking, let the rhythm take its place, like I had before, all that in the same familiar way. But something in how it felt didn't land the same as then. Not enough to name it, just enough to notice it. Almost the same as before. Same road, same form. Nothing changed, but it's not exactly like it was. I didn't stop to check it, didn't try to look again. Some things don't need repeating once they've already been. My steps kept moving forward like they always knew the way, but the space between each moment felt a little rearranged. It wasn't something I could follow or something I could trace, just a slight shift in the distance I couldn't quite replace. Almost the same as before. Same line, same course. Nothing new, but it's not exactly like it was. Maybe nothing really changed, just the way I move through it. Maybe I just noticed what I missed. I didn't try to figure it out, just let it stay that way. Close enough to normal, but not the same. Almost the same. Walk on, same pace, still on. Didn't try to change it, just let it sit like that. Whatever felt different, I left it where it's at. I stopped looking for a reason, stopped checking if it fits. Some things don't need adjusting, you just leave them as they sit. It wasn't wrong or right now, just something in between. I let it stay that way, without asking what it means. I walked like I was used to, didn't fix the way it felt, just kept it in the background and let it be itself. I left it as is, no changes, didn't need to rearrange it. Not the same, but it's fine, I left it as is this time. I didn't try to smooth it out, didn't try to make it clear. Some things settle on their own if you leave them where they are. It stayed in quiet balance, not steady, not undone, just something I got used to as I kept moving on. I didn't think about it much, didn't need to hold it close. It stayed where it belonged, and I let go of the rest. I left it as is, no changes, let it stay where it landed. Not exact, but it works. I left it as is, no words. Maybe that's all it needed, nothing more than space, not to be understood, just to stay in place. I didn't try to name it, didn't try to decide, just let it be there and kept my side. Left it as is, walk on, no fix, still on. I stopped thinking about it at some point, I guess. Nothing really changed, I just didn't keep it. I kept walking like before, but quieter in my head. No reason to go back, no reason to get ahead. I wasn't checking anything, just letting it move. Whatever passed through me, I didn't try to use. There was space where it used to sit, but it didn't feel like loss, just something that moved on when I did. Nothing to hold, so I didn't let it pass like it should. No need to keep what won't stay. Nothing to hold, just this way. I didn't slow down anymore, didn't need to speed up. Everything found its own pace, and that was Wasn't trying to notice, wasn't trying to forget. Things just move through quietly without leaving a trace. My steps felt more like habit, not something I had to choose. Just something I followed without thinking it through. Nothing to hold, so I didn't let it pass. No resistance, not missing, not keeping. Nothing to hold, just distance. Maybe that's how it works. Once you stop looking for it, it doesn't need to leave. It just stops staying. I didn't try to keep up, didn't fall behind. Just let it go through and kept my mind. Nothing to hold, walk on, no trace, still gone. It got quiet again. At some point I didn't notice when. I kept moving like before, nothing pulling either way. No reason to look around, no reason to stay. There wasn't anything left that needed my attention, just the same open space without interruption. I didn't try to think about it, didn't try to let it go. There just wasn't anything there to hold on to. Quiet again, no trace. Nothing stayed in place. No need to check. Quiet again, just steps. I wasn't aware of the moment when it all settled down. It just stopped being something I could notice around. My pace didn't change, but it felt more even, like everything lined up without needing a reason. There was nothing to follow, nothing to leave behind, just the same empty space and a quieter mind. Quiet again, no pull. Nothing left to hold. No shape, no sign. Quiet again, just time. Maybe that's how it ends, not with anything clear, just everything fading until it's not there. I didn't try to mark it, didn't try to remember. It just got quiet on its own. Quiet again, still on. No trace, walk on. I'm back where I was, or close enough to say it. Nothing really led me here, I just stayed with it. Same road under my feet, same quiet kind of space. I didn't try to get here, it just fell into place. I'm moving like I used needing a reason. Back where I was, not exactly. Same steps, same pace. Nothing added, nothing taken. Back where I was, just space. I didn't notice when it settled, didn't mark the point. Everything just evened out without making a noise. I'm not thinking about it now, not like before. There isn't anything here that I need to look for. It feels like I've been here even when I hadn't. Like something stayed the same even when it shifted. Back where I was, not exactly. Same line, same place. Nothing missing, nothing waiting. Back where I was, just space. Maybe it never changed. Maybe I just moved through it. Or maybe it reset itself when I stopped holding it. I didn't try to follow, didn't try to stay. It just led back here in its own way. Back where I was, still on, same pace. Walk on.